What if the secret you swore to bury came back as a living nightmare? I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025, is an American slasher thriller directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson, a direct sequel to the original 1997 slasher. The movie follows friends haunted by a past accident as a hook-wielding killer returns to turn their guilt into terror. With an IMDb rating of 5.2, it's a chilling revival of the iconic horror. Before we dive into the creepy details, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more spine-tingling recaps. All right, turn down the lights. It's time to meet I Know What You Did Last Summer. The film begins with Ava Brooks returning to her childhood hometown, Southport, for the engagement party of her best friend, Danica Richards. Ava is still grieving her mother's death and feels uneasy about seeing her old high school boyfriend, Milo Griffin, again. At the party, the friends reunite after being apart for a long time. Danica is now engaged to Teddy Spencer, whose parents, Grant and Jill, are a wealthy local couple. She playfully suggests that Ava should get back together with Milo, but Ava quickly says no. From a distance, Teddy and Milo watch the two talking. Teddy asks Milo if he still likes Ava. Milo does, but he tells Teddy they're only friends. After the party, the four friends run into their old classmate Stevie Ward and her friend Hannah, who are collecting empty bottles. Stevie stayed in town after her dad spent her college money and abandoned her, while the others all left for college, causing them to drift apart. The group invites Stevie to come along to watch fireworks, though she hesitates at first. Hannah encourages her, and Stevie finally agrees to join them. The five friends drive through town and stop to watch the fireworks. Teddy messes around in the middle of the street and almost gets hit by a car, but Milo pushes him out of the way. This makes everyone realize Teddy's joke isn't funny anymore. Just then, a pickup truck comes by and swerves to avoid hitting Teddy, crashing through a guardrail. The group tries to pull the driver out and stop the truck from falling, but it slips from their hands and crashes onto the rocks below. Teddy calls the cops, then tells the others they should leave. Ava insists the driver might still be alive and they should help, but the rest side with Teddy and walk away. When they get home, Teddy says his dad will handle everything. He makes them promise not to tell anyone what happened, and they all agree to keep it a secret. 1 year later, Ava travels to Southport for Danica's bridal shower. At the airport, she has a fling with a young woman named Tyler in the bathroom. Soon after, Milo calls to say he'll pick Ava up in 15 minutes. Tyler asks if she can ride with her to Southport, and both of them are picked up by Milo. On the drive, Milo asks how Ava and Tyler know each other. Ava quickly says they met on the plane. Milo then asks Tyler why she's in town. Tyler explains she hosts a podcast called Live Laugh Slaughter and is working on an episode about the Southport massacre from 1997. At the party, the friends find out that Danica and Teddy broke up and she is now engaged to Wyatt. Stevie has been by Danica's side over the past year while Ava hasn't spoken to her. As Danica opens her gifts, she finds a card that says, "I know what you did last summer." The message frightens her. She quietly shows it to Ava, Milo, and Stevie, thinking it must be from Teddy, still angry about their breakup. To find the truth, Ava, Milo, and Stevie visit Teddy's boat at the docks, where he now spends most of his time drinking. Ava shows him the letter and asks if he sent it to Danica. Teddy denies it and angrily tells his old friends to leave him alone. That night, Danica and Wyatt are home alone. Danica goes upstairs to take a bath while Wyatt notices the backyard lights turn on. Thinking someone is outside, he goes to check, but finds no one. As he turns back, he is suddenly shot in the back with a harpoon. The attacker pulls it out and fires again, hitting him in the stomach. The figure wears a fisherman's slicker and carries a hook, just like the killer from the old Southport massacre.
Please, stop!
The killer slashes Wyatt with the hook, finishing him off. Upstairs, Danica hears nothing because she is listening to a tape in the bath. When she finally comes downstairs, she finds Wyatt's body propped upright with the words, "You can't erase the past," written on the wall in his blood. Milo, Ava, and Stevie go to the police station to check on Danica after hearing about Wyatt's death. While they are with her, Teddy arrives, but before he can approach, Milo stops him, knowing Danica isn't ready to see him yet. The next day, the friends meet to talk about who might be after them. They are confused because Wyatt wasn't even involved in the accident. They know the victim's name was Sam Cooper, but they can't find any connection to him. Ava then remembers Tyler and her obsession with the Southport massacre, so she decides to meet with her to get answers. In the next scene, Ava meets with Tyler, who takes her to the old Bayside house where the killer had struck before. There, Tyler explains what happened in 1997. Julie James, a girl from Southport, received an anonymous note that said, "I know what you did last summer," and soon after, people were murdered. Ava asks if Julie died, but Tyler says she was one of only 2 survivors. Tyler once tried to interview her, but Julie refused. After this, Tyler goes upstairs while Ava texts the group to let them know she's with Tyler. Suddenly, Ava notices the killer and at first thinks it's Tyler.
Tyler? Seriously, that's not funny.
Ava? Who is that?
Until she sees the real Tyler upstairs, shouting Tyler to run. The killer attacks Ava, trapping her inside a cage. Ava yells for Tyler to get help. Tyler tries to escape through the roof lift, with the killer chasing her, but she manages to get away. Meanwhile, Stevie arrives at the Bayside house after receiving Ava's message. Ava frees herself from the cage and unlocks the door and meets Stevie. Meanwhile, upstairs, Tyler is attacked by the killer. She manages to pull off the killer's mask and recognizes him, whispering, "You," before the killer hangs her out the window, which Ava and Stevie witness Tyler's death. The town is filled with talk about Tyler's death. Teddy's father, Grant, pressures the police to close the case quickly so it won't hurt his business. The friends realize the police will not help them. In the next scene, we see Julie James, one of the survivors of the 1997 Southport massacre. She now lives in a nearby town and works as a college professor trying to leave the past behind. Ava shows up asking for her help and saying she is being hunted by a killer with a fisherman's hook. Seeing how frightened Ava is, Julie invites her into her home. Ava asks Julie if she will come to Southport for the town meeting to reveal the truth, but Julie refuses. She explains that she promised herself never to return and that she already tried once to warn people, but no one believed her. Julie tells Ava to find the killer before the killer finds her. The people of Southport gather for a town meeting after Tyler's death. Grant tries to cover it up, Tyler's death as a suicide, worried the news will drive tourists away during the holiday weekend. Milo and Ava stand up and tell the crowd that Wyatt was murdered 2 days ago, and Ava explains that before Tyler died, she was chased by a killer wearing a fisherman's slicker and carrying a hook. Despite this, Grant insists the incidents are unrelated and claims there is no killer in town. Then a man speaks up, Ray Bronson, one of the original Southport massacre survivors and Stevie's boss. He warns that this isn't the first time violence has happened in Southport. Grant pushes back, saying the town has changed since 1997. He insists Wyatt was killed in a home invasion and Tyler's death was a suicide. Using his influence, Grant convinces the town there is no killer. In the next scene, Stevie asks Ray why he never told her what happened to him in 1997. She and the others ask for his help, since they are now in the same situation. Ava adds that she also visited Julie for help. Julie told her they need to learn more about the accident victim, Sam Cooper. Maybe someone is seeking revenge for his death. Ray explains that Julie is his ex-wife and agrees they should start by finding out whose truck Sam was driving, since Grant revealed that Sam had stolen the truck at the time of the accident. Later, Ava goes with Milo and Stevie to an impound lot, believing Sam's truck was taken there after the accident. They discover that the truck belonged to a local pastor named Judah Gillespie, and that Sam had stolen it from him. In the following scene, Danica and Teddy go to the cemetery, where they see the graves of the original Southport victims and Sam's grave, which has fresh flowers on it. They ask the groundskeeper to check the security cameras to see who left the flowers. While groundskeeper goes to look, the killer slashes his throat. Since it is dark outside, Teddy goes to find the groundskeeper, but the killer suddenly appears and chases Danica into a nearby building. She hides inside a parade float, but is soon caught by the killer. Before he can kill her, Teddy tackles him, but the killer escapes. Later, Ray goes to visit Julie, who is not happy to see him. He confronts her for telling Ava to investigate the killer on her own, warning that Ava and her friends could end up suffering the same fate as their own friends years ago. Later, the friends meet at Teddy's house to see Danica. Stevie leaves early for work, while Milo and Ava stay behind. Ava and Milo start to hook up, but Milo becomes uncomfortable when she asks him to choke her. He steps away, saying he needs his phone charger from the car, and tries to pump himself up to go along with what Ava wanted. Before he can go back inside, the killer appears and strangles Milo with a rope, killing him. Meanwhile, Ava sees Milo's car driving away and calls to apologize for what happened earlier. The killer, using Milo's phone, texts her back saying he just needs some time. The next day, Danica and Ava visit the church, where they run into Hannah, who knows them as Stevie's friends. Danica excuses herself to use the restroom. Pastor Judah notices Ava and seems unwilling to talk about what happened with Sam. Meanwhile, Danica sneaks into his office and looks through his notebooks, finding photos of him with Sam. Ava quickly warns her that Judah is coming, and Danica manages to hide before he sees her. Later, Danica and Ava go to the police station to report what they found about Judah. An officer tells them to wait for a moment. The officer calls Grant to let him know that Danica and Ava came to the station to report Pastor Judah. Grant tells the officer to make them spend the night at the station. The officers lock them up. Meanwhile, Teddy is at the sauna, where he sees a warning that he is next. That night, Teddy is at home drinking when the killer suddenly attacks him. Teddy fights back and manages to escape, trying to call for help, but the killer stabs him and drags him away. Grant comes outside and finds his son bleeding to death. The killer then stabs Grant in the throat with his hook, killing him. While staying at the police station, Danica has a nightmare. In it, she finds herself at the Bayside house, where she sees a vision of Helen Shivers, one of the original victims and a former Croaker queen like Danica. Helen stands over Wyatt's body holding a hook, telling Danica that she will get what she deserves, just like Helen did. Danica wakes up as the police station erupts in chaos. She and Ava are told to leave. Outside, they discover Teddy and Grant's bodies hanging. Danica breaks down and Ray warns them to leave town. As they are leaving, they find Milo's car and Ava discovers his corpse in the back seat. She collapses in grief. Stevie quickly leads Ava and Danica to a boat so they can escape Southport. The police arrive at the church to arrest Judah, but instead they find him already dead. His eyes have been gouged out, and his body is left kneeling. One officer notices a photo on the wall of Judah with a group of church members. In the picture is Sam, and standing right next to him is Stevie. Out at sea, Stevie drops the anchor and reveals herself as the killer in the fisherman's slicker. She explains to Danica and Ava that she had been romantically involved with Sam after feeling abandoned by her friends. She says she called Sam to pick her up the night of the accident because she no longer felt comfortable with them, but only later learned from the news that he was the one whose truck was crashed by them. Wanting revenge, she began targeting her old friends, starting by killing the men Danica and Ava loved. Danica and Ava fight back and escape to the deck. Stevie corners Danica at hook point just as Ray arrives to stop her. Stevie stabs Danica in the chest with the hook and throws her overboard. Ray then shoots Stevie, knocking her into the water. Later on, Ray brings Ava back to Southport. Ava calls Julie and wonders how Stevie could have been working alone. Julie realizes that Stevie was never alone. On Ray's boat, Ava figures out that he was Stevie's partner all along. He plans to kill her, even though Stevie once wanted to spare her, believing Ava was guilty about Sam's death, unlike the others. Julie arrives and finds Ava already stabbed in the back. She confronts Ray, her ex-husband, who has gone insane from his past trauma. He says he couldn't stand how their story was being forgotten and wanted people to remember. Before Ray can strike Julie with the hook, Ava grabs the harpoon gun and shoots him, killing him. In the following scene, Danica washes up on the shore alive and is taken to the hospital, where she reunites with Ava. Later, the two sit by the beach, share some food. While talking, Ava warns Danica that Stevie is still alive. During the credits, Carla Wilson, another survivor of the Fisherman killings, watches the news with her husband. The report covers Ray's death and confirms that Stevie's body was never found, meaning she could still be alive. Julie arrives at Carla's house with a message from Stevie that says, "It's not over," with Carla's face crossed out in a photo. Carla looks at Julie and simply asks, "So, who are we taking down this time?" And the movie ends. And that wraps up I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025. A brutal revival of secrets, betrayal, and a legacy of blood in Southport. Ava and Danica may have survived, but the shadow of Stevie and the fisherman's hook still lingers. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling movie stories. And remember, the past always finds its way back. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.